Hello and welcome to a video with me, Raindale, and today we will be taking mages in class match, even though all units gain 50% extra resistance to magic right now, and we'll look at whether this works or not. And the main reason I make this video is because I have tried other team comps, but my account is really strong with mages, and it's what I have the most experience with, so I really felt like I needed to try it out, and it turns out it's actually okay. It's not that weak, even with that disadvantage. So I felt like I wanted to show that before the season ends, in case some people have accounts that are tailored towards mages and want to try this out. Now, before I begin, I do want to say I'm not a pro for class matches. I get into Diamond Master, but I don't get to the top 100 generally. So I will link in the description below the podcast by Prodigy, Luck, and Daniel Boone that talk about live PvP, and if you're interested in this scene, I would really recommend that you take a look at it because it's great content. I'll also link the channels of Luck D and The Ultimate Etchy because they regularly publish their strategies for much higher level than I am. So they are the pros, I would say, at this, and I recommend you take a look at their channels. Now, let's take a look at our team comp for today. So, we are running 3 casters. The first one is Kilphe, and she's in our team because there's a lot of Kains and Glaciela running around, and Kilphe is a great physical bruiser, so she can take their attack. And the other 2 guys on her team, if they get hit by a Kain, they're just dead. So she's there to be our front line and our engaging tool. So if we quickly look at her stats, she has almost 1000 points of magic, 37 defense, but with her barrier it ends up being enough. And then since we're using a lot of resistances, she is extremely strong against slashing, much less so against piercing. I would have loved to make her more resistant to piercing, but with the resources that my account has access to, this was the best I could do. She still performs really well, and we're giving her this Black Rose card for 2 reasons. It gives our team more agility, which is very important, but also it gives her a move that's instant cast, and sometimes that makes the difference between killing an enemy before they act and not being able to do so. Now we also have Halloween Little Leela and the White Mage sub again, because it provides us with full life, which is very good. We have extra movement because that allows her to dart in and out of range, and then 930 magic again, so she's going to be healing a lot. Not doing that much damage though because of the fact that she... not doing that much damage. As you can tell, Kilphe will do more with her Holy, mainly because Holy is really powerful against the dark units that we see a lot. And then our real carry is Ellshra, and she is running Alexandrite Ring and her Sharp Mind for extra accuracy, and she's actually doing fairly fine against evasion with that setup. We also have Halloween TMR for extra accuracy if needed. And she has 900 magic, which is pretty impressive. She is, however, very squishy, so if she gets hit, she dies. But she's our carry in terms of damage. If she gets in range for her Rune Knight attacks that are slashing type, she can hit Kains, Dwaynes, and other characters for over 5000 points of damage, generally one-shotting them. So the challenge is being able to get in range without her dying, but for that we set up our team with quickens and other strategies to force the enemy to be out of position and then take them out with our combination of holy attacks. So without further ado, let's show a battle. Alright, so we are fighting a Diamond 1 player who's playing Glaciela, and he had a very interesting team, so I felt like it was worth showing it. So they are using a Glaciela, which is a very high threat. She can hit Kilphe multiple times to just go through her shield very quickly. They're also using Kain, the very powerful Pierce attacker, and Mariale, which is interesting. It takes me a while to figure that out, but their Mariale is using the Arithmetician subjob, so she can use magic attacks, but mainly she can provide healing, and she can use CT average, which is a maneuver that's very good if your units have more agility than the enemy team, which they do have more than us. But at first, you'll notice that I'm trying to stay away from Mariale because I expect her to be in the thief subjob and be able to steal time my units. But eventually he tips it off. In the early battle, one thing I always do, open up the enemy screen, view the vision card that they're using, and view their movement range, because that allows us to understand what their game plan is, how much damage we'll be able to do against them, and a couple of very critical information, really. So here I know that their Glaciela has the move and jump +1, she can reach us pretty well. Still, our game plan is to put Kilphe in front and have her take the brunt of the enemy's assault. If they're hitting Kilphe, we're in pretty good shape. If Kain attacks anyone else, we are going to die. And then Glaciela has a little bit less offense, so she would probably be able to one-hit Ellshra, but I'm not sure about our Halloween little Leela, who's a little bit tankier. So if we have Protect on, we might be able to survive a hit. Or at least, that's what I am hoping when I go into that match. Because it's very difficult to keep two different people with a lot of mobility at bay. One of them is going to reach us, especially with Glaciela having access to Leap Strike and attacks that move her around the map a lot. So, enemy Kain begins moving forward, and there's one thing about this Kain that I'm personally not convinced about. I don't know what's the reasoning of this player behind doing that, but his Kain does not have the Paladin subjob and does not have Courage. And as we go further on in this battle, it makes all the difference. I think if he had access to Courage, he would win this fight. But we'll see how that plays out in the future. I cast Purify very quickly in this battle because I'm afraid of him just engaging us on us very early with Glaciela. So I am thinking that if we don't have that, we might just die. Now he's checking his damage on us because he could Leap Strike and begins hitting. But he decides against doing that, and I'm pretty sure that Purify made a difference here, because if we didn't have that barrier on us, he would have been able to one-punch us, and he would have probably decided that it was a good idea. And again, our enemies might not know that, but if we lose Ellshra, we lose our capacity to hit people on something other than magic attacks. And that's very, very important, especially if we take a look at their Mariale with 80% something magic resistance. We're not gonna hit her with magic attacks, it just won't do any damage. So we need other tools to hit her. So I'm positioning to keep Ellshra safe, and my intention is to make sure that if he does move forward, he hits Kilphe. Now, we're buffing our offense here on Ellshra, sacrificing defense and spirit, because I figure that whatever happens, she's gonna die if she gets hit. So it's not a major sacrifice to lose some defense in favor of possibly being able to one-punch an enemy. Kilphe buffs herself in terms of movement, and that's very important because this is what allows her to just do her job on the map. I'm moving backwards here because I don't want to get steal timed and then possibly chained by Kain. So he moves forward, and it's interesting because his Mariale is not scared of us. She has so much magic resistance that she can take basically any punishment from our team. So they move forward, get a magic shield on top of everything. And here is our first, I would say, bout of luck in this match. The enemy Kain is not set up with enough fate for his haste to work. So for haste to be guaranteed, you need at least 50 points of faith on your unit. So while he does gain the extra move from his TMR, he does not get hasted this time around. Now I look at my damage, and I do 300. Okay, she has a barrier, it would be 600 otherwise, but here we really see the power of the barrier. I choose to do it. I have a lot of action points on Halloween Little Leela. She can afford to do that, but it doesn't do much damage. I'm just taking away one of her barriers. The enemy moving range, but since we move backwards a little bit, he can't necessarily, or at least what I'm hoping is he can't get a clean hit off on everyone on our team. Glaciela has awkward attack patterns, so she still gets to hit all of us, and Ellshra barely lives. At that point, the unfortunate thing is, her HP is so low that she cannot use Hazard Slash. If she was able to do it, we would just we would kill her with our Hazard Slash. But right now we're forced to use a magic attack that doesn't do as much. It does heal us back a little bit, but it still almost kept her alive. So while we were lucky that Ellshra survived, we weren't able to capitalize on that so much. So now I'm just going to use Holy on Glaciela, and you can tell those magic attacks don't hit as hard as they usually do, so we've just hit her. We're hitting her twice with a light chain, and that's not enough to take her out. So I end up just using this limit break to reduce her magic resistance, because I figure if I take out one of their characters now, I only have to worry about 2 threats, and the one that I'm the most scared about getting AoE'd from is Glaciela. Kain's attack patterns are a bit less awkward, but with Leap Strike from Glaciela, it's really hard to handle that, to ensure that I'm not getting hit on the characters that I want to protect. So I want to take her out as quickly as I can. Now, my enemy's has a pretty good plan. So he uses CD average, which reduces Alduin Littleila's CT, making Glaciela go before. So he could either attack us, or try to run away, or do anything else really that he thinks is important. Now his Kain moves forward and uses Dragon Sprite again, this time proccing the haste. So he would have cast something else, otherwise another buff, but he still gets his haste off in the end. Now their Glaciela is wondering what to do, and she Leap Strikes again, this time taking us out and starting to run away. So yeah, Ellshra could tank 1 hit, but 2 was asking her a little bit too much. So at that point I'm hesitating. Do I go with the full life, or do I try to move in for the kill on Glaciela? And both moves have their own merit. I really feel like I need to take her out, but then without Ellshra, I cannot kill Kain. I cannot kill Mariale, so I need her to be alive in order to have a chance to win the battle. But since Glaciela is so good at taking out our squishier targets, I decide to kill her first, and then try to work towards a revive. Now, we were hitting her for 2000 damage, so slowly chipping away, but it still took us 3 hits. What our team is designed to do is overcome the magic resistance up with the weakness to light, because on dark units we actually do pretty decent damage. You can tell we're hitting Kain for 1500, which is a little bit better. Now I use Shadow Flare to weaken them against area attacks, while also taking another one of Marielle's magic barriers off. So that's the reason why I do that, and I am aware that even though I'm moving Kain 1 more square towards Littleila, he's probably not going to be able to kill her right away. And for some reason, he decides to hit Kilphe there. I'm not sure what his reasoning was there. We should probably have to... I would love to talk with him and know that. But if I was him, I think I would have went for Littleila, provided that he could hit her with the range difference. Now, Mariale doesn't do much in their team. I don't think she has enough magic attack to actually do enough damage. So there we go, Kain takes an extra turn, we're getting hit and hit and hit on Kilphe, and she's starting to look very close to dying. And that part here is interesting because it forces us with a choice. We could either revive Kilphe, or we could revive Ellshra, right? Because Kilphe is now dead. We have 2 enemies to take out. But I'm looking at the turn order, and Ellshra will play again before Kain. and Kilphe would not. And I don't want to give Kain another turn, because he will kill whoever is on our team. Also, Ellshra can probably one-shot Kain here, because Kain does not have courage. So by doing that, we are making sure that, if the full life procs, we're making sure that Kain dies. And we've seen the damage Mariale does. She won't be able to take out anyone. She won't be able to kill Ellshra by herself. So this makes me feel rather safe with the rest of the match, because I know that I'm going to kill Kain. I know that their only other threat is not really a threat in any way. So I'm looking at his to see if he has courage, and I notice that no, he never casted that, because he is in the Dragoon Baron job, not in the Paladin job. So I just move next to him and whack him for 5,000 points of damage, and bye-bye Kain. If he had courage, he would take an extra turn, take out our entire team. So yeah, I don't know why he was using the Dragoon. I think it's because he wanted access to Brain Piercer, which is a nice AoE attack, but that definitely played in our favor here. Now, I would say the rest of this battle is pretty straightforward. Mariale cannot do enough damage to take us out, so we just end up hitting her with Hazard Slash until she dies. So I'm going to stop the battle there. I don't think there's much value to seeing the last 2 minutes of us just hitting Mariale. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and it showed you just how mages can actually perform in this current class match. So if your account is really tailored towards mages and you see some potential in this strategy, well, maybe you try it out. Obviously, it's not as strong as it could be, right? Without the magic resistance, mages would hit much harder, but it's actually possible to make them work. And that's really what I wanted to show. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content, and then have a great rest of your day.